Venus in Capricorn. I'm reading from a book here to get us started. And I knew someone recently with Venus in Capricorn. I knew a couple people. I had some couple really good encounters with Venus in Capricorn. And my Venus is in a Saturn-ruled sign, Aquarius. I do have Capricorn sun, so I know a little bit about Capricorn. As a pre-existing pattern, the Venus in Capricorn person has learned to be very cautious and controlled in how they express themselves and relate to other people. This is what I wanted to start with. As a pre-existing pattern, it always starts with this. What they're bringing into life, the Venus in Capricorn person. Now, somebody, hopefully they're not watching this, but someone I met recently, I asked this person out repeatedly. And I'm not going to give you all of the context, but I've asked this person out repeatedly because I knew it was a big joke. I had their astrology. And this person had Venus in Capricorn. They were young. One of their first boyfriends was a long-term relationship that they recently gotten out of. And that's where you see Venus. You think, well, they're cautious, etc. Like it says here, cautious and controlled in how they express themselves and relate to other people. So this person was in kind of a Capricorn relationship, very long-term, very young, and this is all they knew. And then they got out of it, and here I am, the Capricorn man, and there was some rapport between us. There was some, there's some, for sure, some attraction. And I knew that, but this person, you could tell, were very fearful, very hesitant for whatever reason. There may be some other things, age separation, some other things I'm not going to mention, that is very Capricorn-like. Capricorn can't do that. They can't step out of the box. Now, you see me, I'm a Capricorn. This doesn't mean that all Capricorns. You have to look at the chart, as usual. The person, you have to talk to the person. But this specific example. And, yeah, very cautious. And then it just got, it came down to it. Like personally, I got sick of it, and I just have to stop, obviously stop asking. And then there was another person. We'll get into another person that I know here in a minute. The external relatedness pattern is a reflection of how they have learned to inwardly relate to themselves. The Venus and Capricorn person has very deep feelings and needs to take time to surface into their conscious awareness. So it's like they do have deep feelings and they need to process them. It's like, because Capricorn is a little bit of a deep sign. It doesn't really get a rap for that, but it is a deep sign. Mars, remember Mars is exalted there, Saturn. These are deep, dark planets. Even when they do surface, these individuals require time to make sure and feel secure that what they're feeling or are needing is correct. Also remember that, Virgo and Taurus are within the sign of Capricorn, the earth signs, and that's what they do. Overthinkers, taking their time to make sure everything is secure and right. Don't take too much risk. Caring what other people think. Even then, they can be very slow to relate, share, or communicate these feelings and or needs to others because of a pre-existing fear of rejection and or false judgment. The pre-existing fear has occurred because these individuals have experienced rejection and or wrong judgment all too often early in their life from one or both of their biological parents. The nature of Capricorn as an archetype correlates to the phenomena of time and space, and how time and space are structured or organized. It correlates to the phenomena of finitude or mortality and to the nature of how collectives of people organize themselves into structured groups or societies with consensus-formed man-made laws, regulations, norms, taboos, and customs. This in turn creates social expectations of how people should integrate and conduct themselves within the group or society, which in turn becomes the basis of social judgments. And when the expectation to conform to what the consensus expects does not occur, this becomes the basis of guilt. So we see, this is kind of what I'm talking about. If the relationship looks different, this can deter these people from doing what they really want to do. Another person that I met, I felt like was like this. She worked for the government. She was a Venus in Capricorn. And again, I'm thinking Venus and Capricorn too, at like surface level. You have Venus and Capricorn, I'm a Capricorn, you love Capricorns. But no, it goes deeper than that. They see, because they see, often when they see me, and depending on, it's not even just astrology, it's other things I do, the situation, etc. That, just thinking differently, where I work, what I do, and they can't get over that. They, specifically this person, she probably made over 6 figures. I mean, just that alone. Well, does this person make over 6 figures? Because if they don't, I don't know how I'm going to be able to be with, see, that tradition stuff, that all that crap that doesn't matter, that gets in the way of romance and real love. They I feel sorry for these people. If you're Venus and Capricorn and you're one of these people, I do. I empathize. I empathize with you, but at the same time, you really piss me off. Because this is really fucking annoying. I gotta be honest with you. I try, this is one of my life lessons. I try to empathize, I try to understand, but when you come with the frustrating type of life that I have, it really is annoying to interface with these people because they're doing it to themselves. Capricorn correlates to the structure and nature of consciousness in human form, to the nature of structure in any form, and to the use of form. It also points to the need to change the nature of structural form when that form has become counterproductive to necessary change. That is, when it has served its use and become crystallized. For example, that kind of idea. Okay, you're making money and you work for the government. You use outdated modes of relating in order to get money. Fine. What does that have to do with your private life? Nothing. That's completely separate. This is where they can get into confusion and conflict, inner conflict in their consciousness, because they can't separate the two. And actually, to defend these people, sometimes they're not wrong. They will probably, there's potential that they'll lose their job if they do this. But then, you got to work with the Scorpio. Don't tell anybody. I mean, it's like that simple. Don't tell anyone. It's none of their business. I'm gonna get riled up. In psychological terms, Capricorn correlates to the function of conscious reflection, which allows for a simultaneous awareness of the overall state of our beingness and what we need to change inwardly and outwardly in order to grow. So it kind of goes with that Virgo, that this is stirring up thoughts and contemplation. Actually, Capricorn is a very contemplative sign. This could be causing them to contemplate these things. This is getting way too much for even my brain this early. They typically are born into family structures in which the parental reality has been defined by the consensus of society in which they live. It has a heavy undertone in which the child has been expected to conform to the parental value system. When the child deviated from these expectations to conform, he or she was made to feel guilty in covert or overt ways through the use of judgment. The cliche, do as I say, not as I do, applies here. Parents often do that as well. This reminds me of a guy too that I had recently that would he would shame you, or at least make you aware that you're cursing, and then at the same time he would listen to music and probably curse in his private life. I mean, it's just that kind of schism in the brain, the curse words, they're so bad. No, it's not curse words that are bad. It's energy. You can't tell the difference when I use the word fuck in a communicative way versus when I use the word fuck in an angry way. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is a joke. It's just a word. It's how you use the word. The nature of their relationship is commonly defined by predictable routine and order, which each parent expects the other to adhere and to maintain. More of this idea of order and routine. There's also a mutual fear of being too vulnerable with one another, and their sexual life is either blocked or distorted in some way. All this has served to imprint the overall psychology and emotional reality of the Venus and Capricorn child. There's nothing wrong with Earth. The realized or evolved Earth sign is actually very beautiful. But when it's not evolved and it's held down by this lack of real individual discrimination, it's just, if you can't already tell, it's annoying, frustrating. I can't stand this energy. As a result of this, the Venus and Capricorn individual learned as a child to deeply compress and protect their feelings. They learned that their needs could not be acknowledged, supported, or nurtured by their parents. As a result, they learned to either conceal or suppress their needs. This is what this person did. I said I was dating, or at least I think they were doing this government worker person. Suppressing their own needs. As far as I know, this person's still single. I hope they're not watching this. I don't think they would be watching this, but in their 40s, and this is a very attractive person. The Venus and Capricorn child the situation in which the parents expected the Venus and Capricorn child to act almost like miniature adults, to shoulder many duties and responsibilities. So this, being responsible at a young age, having to be responsible, having to be more of like, also could be the child felt like they were an adult as a child, like they had to have responsibilities that aren't childlike, growing up early. Being the parent to other children in society. Let's see what else here. These types also have, this is possible, thoroughly imprinted the nature of the authoritarian parental environment, that they become very intense authoritarian types who perpetually need to assert and project their own sense of authority in order to feel secure. The underlying insecurity that haunts all Venus and Capricorn individuals becomes compensated for in this way. As a result, these types are instinctively fearful of losing their authority and will do almost anything to sustain it. That's the love, just like I can't think of the right term, on the surface, the love, Venus, of authority, Capricorn. To them, the end justifies the means. They will typically feel afraid of anyone else who has legitimate authority and will generally challenge or in some way attempt to undermine the authority of such people in order to sustain their own. The means most commonly used are conceived and harsh negative judgments and pronouncements and power plays, in which they attempt to block or thwart the goals and ambitions of others. General relatedness patterns are they will appear stoic, controlled, project an authoritarian stance, and attempt to control others through the use of judgment in one way or another. You also see some people with this, I'm not sure that's just Venus and Capricorn, but just this whole archetype, Capricorn, where they'll get in contact with you and be vulnerable and emotional when they absolutely can't survive any other way. They have to do it. And then when they're done with that and then go back to being stoic and all put together, they'll disappear. Because they're only doing it. They're only coming to you because they're in such desperation emotionally. But on a day-to-day level, God forbid they show that they are emotional beings, especially women. Especially women who feel that they need to be strong in this overly masculine world. And that's quite annoying as well, because the beauty and the power of the feminine is totally misconstrued in this way. Totally misconstrued in this way. Honestly, I don't think they have much to worry about. In their intimate relationships, these types attract one of two types of partners. One will be just as oriented to outward success, appearances, and social ambition as they are. Their inner life will be just as emotionally frozen as well. They may relate well through the commonality of their external goals and ambitions, yet their inner emotional relatedness will be slim to none. This is what you see with these people too. They actually think they're gonna go and they actually think that they're gonna go out there and meet a man or a woman who is this way and get their inner needs met. They got another thing coming, because these people, it's like that. I mean, like the kind of. No way am I equating this to a psychopath, but how many psychopaths are out there, and how many are what we might call secondary psychopaths who have learned to be psychopaths? And these are the types of people that are extremely external, have taken external values to the nth degree. And these people think it's like I go on to a dating app or something, and I find this super beautiful woman. She's got a great career, etc. And I've done this. And then I'm actually going to delude myself and think that they have this, they value the inner life and the emotions as well. I mean, how much time and effort is spent in the external stuff? What makes you think that they're going to have the inner life mastered? And this is what these people do. It's not going to happen. It's like literally playing the lottery. That's all it is. Playing the lottery is fun. I don't think playing the lottery is fun, but these people do. This type will be, the other type would just be just the opposite. Very emotionally needy individual who is essentially looking for a de facto parent to be in a relationship to. This categorizes really all of this lack of balance. De facto parent to be in a relationship to. This type will be very dependent and essentially attempt to live through the Venus and Capricorn's identity and reality. They will have no real life of their own and subconsciously feel safe in being dominated and controlled. They can also confuse this, I think, with the money. Like just because a person makes so much money, so much more money than their partner, does not mean that the other partner is needy. Does not mean that the other person is dependent on them. Gets into more of psychology, which I'm not going to get into. There's a deep reflective consciousness in these people. Can be quite withdrawn, quiet, reserved, conservative, serious person. You know, even if you don't see this person, because the other things in the chart, in their private life, they can be this way. This is I would say, a better trait, a more higher expression of Capricorn, this meditative life, contemplative life. They can seem as they're in a cyclic state of mourning, which I don't like this either. People that think that Capricorn energy is sad, you've heard this, a resting bitch face or something like that. That's annoying too. Their hearts seem to be burdened in Saturn. There's beauty and there's romance. There's beauty, there's romance, there's a certain poetic energy with Capricorn. There can be many causes of this condition. The typical causes are childhoods in which there was There was not real love, caring, and nurturing. Not always the case. Not always the case. As I said, there's a poetic beauty to this. A Neptune in Capricorn-like. Venus is the lower octave of Neptune. And this same person I'm talking about with the government job, very creative in her own right, in her own space, very creative, very poetic in her own world when no one was around. Let's get to the good stuff. Some repeating of this. He gets into once the Venus and Capricorn person is unlocked, their natural warmth, depth, and loving natures will be revealed. All of the positive traits of Earth can be expressed instead of the negative ones. Sexually speaking, the Venus and Capricorn person is naturally monogamous. They will naturally value the power of commitment. Conditioning patterns notwithstanding, the Venus and Capricorn person is naturally a deeply sexual archetype. By nature, they need to be warmed up through holding, touching, kissing before actual intercourse. They need the act of sexual intercourse to be long and sustained. The depth of the Venus and Capricorn person's feelings can be ignited through the length of the sexual act. Because of the inherent tendency to withhold or suppress their feelings, needs, emotions, the Venus and Capricorn person also desires sexual intensity. Not going to get into any of that. They require sexual integrity, honesty, and respect. There's not much need for sexual experimentation. Not going to get into any of that. If you want to know more, we can do a reading and we can do a one-on-one consultation. The sexual intensity that the Venus in Capricorn requires can also uncover one of the deepest fears that they have, the fear of losing control, yet desiring to do so. Venus in Capricorn person thus affected must learn that this fear is actually linked with the fear of being too vulnerable. Consequently, the sensitive lover will encourage them to lose control because real freedom and growth for the Venus and Capricorn person lies in their accessing the core of their emotions, that which is most vulnerable. Unfortunately, the Venus and Capricorn, along with all the other people oriented this way, will unlikely unlock any of this. And if you're dealing with this person, you will sit back and continue to be frustrated and probably would do well to never talk to them again. Easier said than done. For evolution to proceed, Venus and Capricorn must embrace its polarity, Cancer. Uncover and heal the inner wounded child. I think the most important thing is that this idea of letting go, especially through the relationship, is just an amazing healing process. And what do you know that's like the one thing that as a society, as a collective, doesn't have and can't have, because wow, that would transform society real fast. We just change things way too fast. Getting into the darker side of this and why this maybe can't happen collectively, that's a scary thought. So enjoy your astrology, enjoy your contemplative life, because that is what you're going to have. That's not going to go away. So, I'm going to leave it there for now. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.